So we can, in fact, use what we know of the difference between natural and intelligent messages to sort out what their source might be.
Now, somebody might say, well, maybe you're advancing kind of a God of the gaps approach where, look, natural process mechanisms can't account for a particular feature in the universe or a particular phenomenon in the universe, and so therefore it must be a creator. There must be something outside the universe. So how is your approach immune to that criticism, if it is immune to that criticism?
Right, and I am very sensitive to that criticism. It would be the last thing I would want to be kind of guilty of doing, because I don't think that it is in line with good science to approach some phenomenon in nature and say, well, we don't know how that works, so it just must be something God did. Rather, what I would like to suggest is that we can, from a position of knowledge, from our actual understanding through observation, testing, the scientific method, what we know about nature, we can ask if, again, certain phenomena are consistent with what we know nature can do. And if so, then it's probably natural. But if not, then logic suggests if it can't be done naturally, but here it is, then it must be something beyond nature. So I don't think that's saying, oh, if we just learned more.
Right.
No, we already know enough. What we know is telling us that it can't be natural. It's not what we don't know.
Right. So if there's two options and you, in effect, rule out one option for all intents and purposes, then you are only really left with the other option, is your argument.
Yes, there's kind of a logic to the process.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting to me that there are actually scientific disciplines that, have the capacity to detect directly the work of intelligent agency, right, with respect to features in nature. One example would be SETI, right? So the claim is, well, here's electromagnetic radiation emanating from a distant source, and we can tell from the features of that radiation whether it originated through some kind of natural process phenomena, even if it's an unknown natural process, or if it was some type of alien civilization, even though we may not know anything about that alien civilization.
Yes, exactly. That is a great example. SETI is Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Even from my own discipline, I used to teach a lot of astronomy courses, and we would bring this up because it was in the textbooks about the discovery of pulsars, the very first discovery of these collapsed, what are now known as collapsed stars, known as neutron stars. And turns out that they produce a signal which, when it was first discovered in the mid-1960s by accident, someone using a primitive radio telescope, it was unlike any other signal coming from space that had ever been picked up. And so apparently the discoverers initially kind of put a little question mark in their lab notebook, like E.T. or LGM, Little Green Man, something like that. And but you could rule it out because the type of signal wasn't consistent with an intelligent source. It was very sharp and rapid, but it never varied. And any sort of an intelligent message, if it's Morse code, there's quite a variation in the signal. So we can, in fact, use what we know of the difference between natural and intelligent messages to sort out what their source might be.
So it's not just merely logic then, but we could even go one step further using strictly scientific methodology and at least make the case that not only can we not account for this phenomena through natural processes, but that there may even be signatures in those processes or in that phenomena that suggest intelligent agency.
Exactly right. The whole field of cryptography or trying to break a code,
right,
or write a code that can't be broken. how do you, if you pick up a message, let's say during wartime from an enemy, and how do you know it's a code that has some meaningful information that might be worthwhile trying to figure out, versus just some random noise radio signal. And so the researchers in that field have algorithms, in fact, that they can apply to even an unknown code to determine if it's just junk or if it's actually containing a meaningful message.